Hey, Emily, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Hey, thank you so much. It's great to see you again, Mark.
Yeah, it's been way too long since we've seen each other.
Yeah, many years actually.
Yeah.
Last when you were out at the Writers of the Future event to speak.
Yeah, wow. I hate to count the years, but I want to get into Writers of the Future. Can you talk a little bit? So what is the contest and how does this work?
So, Writers of the Future, it's an international writing contest that's been going for 37 years. It was started by L. Ron Hubbard back in the 80s. And it's a free contest. Anybody can enter. There are no restrictions on age, gender, race, religion, anywhere in the world, anybody can enter. It's free to enter. It's a blind judge contest. It's short story writing, science fiction, fantasy. So we get stories in from all over the world, and we have this amazing blue ribbon panel of judges that review the stories that come in. But as I mentioned, it's a blind judge contest. So when the stories come in, the name gets removed, and it's strictly on merit alone. So, and your story gets seen by people like Brandon Sanderson, Dave Farland, Orson Scott Card, Larry Niven, Tim Powers. I mean, there's about 30 judges. I mean, that's only a handful of, the amazing authors that contribute their time. And it's all there as like a pay it forward, helping hand for new aspiring authors. And it's something that, it's still funded by L. Ron Hubbard to this day as a way to give back, because he himself was a science fiction fantasy writer. And well, he actually wrote in all genres. He wrote,
Yeah, he did. He wrote mysteries and all kinds of stuff.
he
Yeah.
wrote mystery, he wrote Western, he wrote
Yeah.
detective, noir, and a lot in the 1930s and 40s. And in the 80s, he did the Battlefield Earth and Mission Earth. And then that was around the time when he started the contest. So the
Right.
contest was in science fiction fantasy. And it's been going, it just grows every year. We don't give out the numbers of entries, but it's a lot. And
Wow. And it's a free
yeah,
contest and it's quarterly, right? There's like four times a year you can enter.
that's right. So it's divided by 4 quarters each year. Anybody can enter. You can enter all 4 quarters if you want, but
Wow.
each quarter there's a first, second, third place winner. And
Okay.
then at the end of the year, all of those winners, so there's 12 of them for the year, they all get published in the annual anthology. I have one here. So this is volume
Is that
36.
the latest one?
This is the latest one.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that yet. That
I'll
is
have to send you one.
wow,
So
it's
this is
gorgeous.
the latest. And so the winners get published in here. So there's 12 short stories. And then there's also a companion art contest, Illustrators of the Future, where like the winning art for the
Oh my God. Yeah.
gets published in there. There's some really just amazing stuff. You can kind of see.
Wow.
And it's all in science fiction fantasy, but just some serious talent. I'll just show you a few.
It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So the 12 winners, both writer and illustrator, get published in the anthology every year. And we also fly them out to Hollywood for a week-long workshop with those judges that I mentioned earlier. They also fly into Hollywood. And it's like a week-long boot camp that culminates at the end of the week in a big awards event where, it's a big red carpet event. It's kind of like the Oscars for the writers. And
Black tie.
yeah,
It's such
you were
a
there.
wow. It was such an amazing experience to be there. I mean, just off the strip on the Hollywood strip and then the black tie event. But so one of the things I loved, and I want to get into some of the things that you guys do with the authors, because I think it's like a world renowned experience that most authors will never get to
Yeah.
experience, which I think is amazing. But you've got the 12 writers and the 12
Mhm.
illustrators. And then what happens is there's the art reveal. I
Yeah.
remember being there for the art reveal, and it was such a beautiful experience. Can you talk a little
Yeah,
bit
for
about
sure.
that?
That's like one of the most emotional parts. I always have to bring my tissue for that particular event. So what happens is there's a writer winner and an illustrator winner will get paired up with one of the stories. So they will illustrate one of the stories out of the book. And so the artist, he reads the story, he creates his illustration. That's actually what gets published in the book. But the authors haven't met the illustrators and vice versa. So they come here to do their workshops. And then at some point in the middle of the week, there's a big art reveal, we call it. And so you have like all the there's like easels with art all around the room, and the art is placed on easels, and the illustrators are kind of like in the back along the back wall, kind of waiting, and the writers come in and they have to find their piece that goes with their story, and they usually find it immediately. And then the illustrator comes over, and it's just the sweetest thing. Like, you see they're hugging and crying, and wow, somebody made that for my story. And then the illustrator's like, oh my gosh, do you like it? And and it's just such an emotional moment. And then it's nice when we're able to capture that in photos and stuff. But and then they'll just be talking, and then they're like becomes best buds for life after that. And it's just a really special moment when they get to like see that something they wrote, they created in their mind and put on paper. And then this illustrator comes and creates, their interpretation of it. And it's just been a huge, like, emotional event every year. And it's something definitely we look forward to. That happens like a couple days before the big gala event.
Yeah, I remember watching it too, and it was it's kind of like it's tear provoking to see. It's beautiful to see these two creative forces come together and kind of it's just this wonderful moment of harmony that happens. But there's other things that happen during the week as well, and and you mentioned some of the names of some of the people that actually get to teach them and do workshops with them. What's the experience like?
So when they come here, let's say take the writer workshop, they arrive here, they go into, it's literally like a boot camp week-long workshop that, if they've come and they've won the contest, then they have talent already and they know how to put a story together. They know how to structure a sentence. So the workshop more is on like the business of writing and how to make it in the industry. And, they'll polish them up also on their story writing. But there's like a week where you have like David Farland, Tim Powers, and Orson Scott Card that will lead the main, structured workshop, where they really also get their productivity up, because, some, like, if you're writing short stories and, magazines come and they come and they go and there's deadlines. So they'll get them in that frame of mind of completing things as well. And they actually have a 24-hour short story that they have to write as part of the workshop. Wow. And some of them are like, that's terrifying, but the results are amazing because they've just been through a whole workshop on how to do this and what to do. So when they actually finally do it, the results are spectacular. And some people take in those short stories and they have been published. No editing, nothing. They have submitted those stories and had them published. So it's been a real success. And they really work with them on research, and they go to the library and they go learn, to get inspiration, and they'll go out on the street and talk to strangers. And then once they're through that part, then we have the guest speakers coming in and the other judges. So then one day they'll spend a day, an afternoon with Larry Niven, and then another afternoon with Robert J. Sawyer and Brandon Sanderson and Nnedi Okorafor. And so they'll get different aspects of the industry and different aspects of the, the editing cycle, or different, or being at conventions, the different perspectives from the different authors. So by the time they leave here, they're completely packed with information. They go home, they take 3 weeks to digest it all, and then start putting it to use.
Wow. I think the year that I was there, I remember there was a day, I think Tim must have taken them. Was it to the printing facility where they were actually seeing the book be made?
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. We have done that numerous times, where they actually went to the printing house and watched the books come off the printer right there live. We've done different activities with them. Some of them, have gone, like one year we took them all to JPL, and another, taking to NASA one year. So there's different activities that happen. But I remember that when you were here, they went to the print shop and they were smelling the books, and they were like, they're finding their story right away. They're like, oh my goodness, my story. And it was like, still like, wasn't even cut yet. It's very sweet.
Yeah. And I remember, the gala event was something else. That was the first time as a keynote speaker I had ever had the luxury and privilege of using a teleprompter, which makes you look so smart. It was so cool.
Yeah, that makes for a smooth experience.
Yeah, I'm honored. I got to be the first person to congratulate Orson Scott Card when he got the Lifetime Achievement Award, because I was on stage right after him. So as he was coming off stage, I'm like, congratulations, as I was nervously heading out. Nice. that event is pretty amazing. Like I think Wolf Moon, I saw recently, he shared some pictures. He was sitting beside, I think it was Dean Wesley Smith on one side of him and Robert J. Sawyer on the other, and they're all signing copies of
Yeah.
volumes, and everyone's dressed and it looks so beautiful. And it was just this amazing event. And I remember cheekily saying to some of the authors, like, take lots of pictures because your next book launch probably won't be quite so elegant.
That's the truth. I mean, it's definitely the full Hollywood experience when they come here for the event. And, it's true. Their next signing won't exactly be like that. But, once they get like that, it's like a huge amount of pressure. They sign like at least 500-600 books that night of the event with the people that have attended the event. And then there's a ton of networking and a lot of, everybody's there from the industry. So then, once they go out, we send them back home after they're done with all of this. Then we send them out on book signing tours and media tours, and we book them on radio shows and TV shows and send them around, doing book signings. And once they have that experience here, anything else we send them out to do is like, oh, I got this, so it doesn't even compare. They put me on stage in front of 1,000 people when I was in Hollywood. On a red carpet with microphones in my face. So,
but the great thing is if you've connected them to local media to do something like in their state or province or wherever they are in the world, that can help them for their next release, because now they have a contact at the radio station or whatever, right? So it really, I think one of the hidden elements that's not necessarily obvious is you have a relationship with some of the judges because you get to spend time learning from them one-on-one. You get relationships in the industry. There may be media contacts that you get. Like, I think it's an amazing relationship building experience too.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that happens every year that is just a big deal for these guys, like I said, the networking, but they do the workshops all day long. And then at night, if I'm looking for any judge or any winner, I'm going to find them all at the bar with the judges, just picking their brains till 2 a.m. I don't know if these people ever sleep when they're here. We give them time to sleep, but they want to get as much as they can while they can, and they make lifelong friends. And the writers, they now in these days we have social media and internet and stuff, so it's much easier for them to get to know each other. And we still also stay connected with them. Like when we go to like conventions and stuff, we will bring, we'll have a place at the Writers of the Future and Galaxy Press booth where past winners of the contest can come in, and we'll give them a space. If they have new books out, they can autograph books. If they don't happen to have a new book out, they can sign Writers of the Future books. But so that's always nice. And, like last year we were in Salt Lake City and we had people from volume 17, volume 9, and,
Wow.
Now we're on volume 37. So once you're kind of part of the family, we'll take care of you as long as as long as we have your email address and phone number and reach you.
And I remember I've seen you guys at Book Expo America, Frankfurt Book Fair in Germany, London Book Fair. And I think it might have been London Book Fair where I bumped into one of your authors who was actually there signing copies of the recently released, and like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So 2020 was an odd year.
Yes.
Was there a giant gala in-person event? How did you have to deal with the pandemic and everything?
Well, so that obviously changed everything because, normally we bring everybody into Hollywood. We fly them from all over the world. We had winners from volume 36 from Australia and England and Iran and all these different places that we were not able to fly them in just because of the pandemic. So we originally had postponed it to the fall because our event is normally in April. Right. But again, in the fall, it was still not safe to bring people in. So we asked the winners themselves, if they would like to have a virtual event or if they would rather hold off and do a combined event, like a double whammy in 2021 with the volume 37 winners. And I think almost 100, I think out of the 24, because there's 12 writers, 12 illustrators, only one person was okay with doing it virtual. So they were definitely wanting to come here and have the full experience. So we decided to postpone the event. Wow. We did, however, do a virtual art reveal because we were going to we did release the book, yes, the one that I showed you, the volume 36. We did release that one. So so we did the art reveal before releasing it so that, they got to have that experience. And it was still, super emotional. And you can still find that on the Writers of the Future YouTube channel if anybody wanted to see that art reveal.
Oh, you know what? I haven't seen that. I'm going to have to check it out. Oh.
You have to go. You have to check it out.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same as being there live, but there was definitely some emotion going on in there.
Well, I can imagine. I know the photographers that I've seen there, just amazingly talented people. So I can imagine the videographers are probably just as, zooming in on the right moments.
Yeah, well, we literally did it as a Zoom event.
Oh, that's right. It was Zoom. It was. I keep thinking
Zoom,
it's in person. Yeah.
Oh, I wish it was in person. But yeah, we did it in Zoom, so you'll see all the heads all across the screen.
Yeah, of course.
But we showed the art, so it flips through each of the art pieces, and then the artist and the writer will connect up and talk about it for a little bit before we go on to the next one. So you get to see actually more of it than you would if you were in the room, because you can hear only like 2 people at a time. So you get to see all of it there. So that was nice. We did that. And then, like I said, we decided to postpone the event, and we're looking at doing it later this year in 2021. And one cool thing is Echo Chernick, she's our coordinating judge for the Illustrator contest. She did the cover art for this one.
Okay. Yeah,
and
gorgeous.
How we decided to do it is she's doing a follow-up to this one. So it has a similar look, like the same character. Right. So there'll be like a back-to-back, so because we always do like the stage is like the theme of the book cover. So we're not going to shaft one year versus the other. So we kind of have the same artist doing the same theme. So they all it's like one big happy family. It's going to be a rowdy bunch of 48.
It's going to be big.
But it's going to be great. I can't wait. We're definitely excited having everybody back here again.
So this amazing opportunity that any writer, so one of the caveats is if you have had a professional sale, you're not eligible to enter it, basically, right?
Yeah, anybody can go to writersofthefuture.com, and right there on the site, the rules are listed. It's not that it's up to a certain amount of sales. And if you're self-published, it's up to a certain amount, like 5,000 hits.
Right.
So anybody can just go there and see the rules at writersofthefuture.com if they have any question about whether they're qualified or not, because it is a contest for amateurs. You're right. But there's what it states on there on the website what qualifies amateur. So
right. Yeah, I mean, if you sold a story but not for professional rates or whatever, then
it's like 3 stories and like a certain amount of sales. So so some people will think that they're not qualified, but they actually are. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Excellent. And I think it's a free contest, and it's really designed to help kickstart and help beginning writers recognize, work through the craft, because that's how they get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the purpose of it. That's the whole purpose of the contest. When L. Ron Hubbard started it, is because you have somebody who's out there and they don't have a voice, they don't have the connection, but they have the talent. Right. And it just gives them a voice, and it gives them, puts them in view of, people who themselves are extremely successful, who say this person has talent, and it's not based on who they are or anything other than their talent alone. Right. And that's the way that L. Ron Hubbard designed it, so that it just made a level playing field for anybody to be able to have an even chance of winning.
Wow. And then on top of that, and I think it was just in 2020 that you launched an additional resource, again, completely free for writers. Can you talk about your the Writers of the Future online workshops?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that a lot of people look forward to wanting to win the contest, I did not mention earlier, but there is cash prizes. You can win anything from $500 to $1,000 for winning the contest.
Oh yeah, it's not just a trip to
just the Hollywood trip. Yeah, you also get cash prize. You also get paid pro rates for your short story, and then there's a grand prize winner that gets announced at the big event, and they get an additional check for $5,000. One writer, one illustrator. So in addition to that, one of the big things that people want, why they want to win this contest is because they get to come and be a part of that workshop. Like, people so want to be in that room with Orson Scott Card and Tim Powers and Dave Farland and Brandon Sanderson and Larry Niven and Rob Sawyer and all these guys, because it's such a wealth of information, and they just are learning from these greats. And so we keep getting emails like, look, I had 2 honorable mentions this year, and I'm like, so close, but if I could just get in that workshop, then I might, so people want to get in on this workshop. So what we did at the beginning of we actually put it out at the beginning of the lockdown, like shortly after the pandemic started and people couldn't go out. We took all like some of the basics. It's not the full workshop, but it's like basics that you learn in the workshop. And it's led by David Farland, Orson Scott Card, and Tim Powers. And it's a free online writing workshop. It's at writersofthefuture.com. And we put it up there for anybody to come and participate. There's 12 sections. There's there's over 10 videos in there from these guys. And it's about 5 or 6 hours worth of videos on there. And there's essays by L. Ron Hubbard and Algis Budrys, and anybody goes through, and it takes you step by step, from the beginning, from research, writing dialogue, writing narration, how to start, begin, complete a story, how to add suspense, how to, emotion, art, and then productivity. So you get that kind of stuff on the online workshop, and then you get a little certificate at the end that says, I completed the Writers of the Future online workshop. And and there's also transcripts with all the videos, and it's set up for people to go at their own pace. So we put it up there. So, some people do it on weekends, and there is no strict class to follow. You just go through your own pace. You can go back as many times as you want, reread something, you watch something. And we put that up, and, we were hoping, that we would be able to help a few hundred people. And within 48 hours, we had 2,000 people sign up, and we were like, whoa. And now I think it's up 5,000 now from 108 countries. So it's been extremely popular. Yeah.
Wow. And people from anywhere in the world can take advantage of this for free, which is amazing.
Yes. And I just checked it out today. It looks like about 160 Canadians have gone on and done the course. So I'm not partial or anything.
So sort of as we wrap up, a couple final questions. I'm dying to ask you, and I've never asked you this, is have you ever taken advantage of the learning about writing or illustrating? And are you a writer or illustrator yourself? Or is there some other creative pursuit? Singing? Like, what is it? What's your forte?
Well, I mean, I obviously run the public relations for Author Services and the contest. And so, my writing is very different. It's the press releases, the blogs, and the bios, and the helping people with different aspects of that. But like I said, the videos and the essays, I've probably watched all those videos at least 5 or 10 times over as I put the course together. So yeah, but I mean, of course, I every time I listen to these guys or watch them, I always learn something. They're amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you for spending time with me today. Can you please let my listeners know, just, I guess, is it writersofthefuture.com? Is that pretty much the place where you can find all the information?
Yeah, the writersofthefuture.com is kind of like the one-stop shop for everything. That's where you can find like the anthology. You can also get that at Galaxy Press or Amazon, and then, or anywhere books are sold. This is the latest one.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Gorgeous. Number 36.
That's number 36. That's the one that's out right now. 37 will be coming out later this year. But that's it. You can find that at writersofthefuture.com, galaxypress.com, or Amazon, or anywhere books are sold. The contest is at writersofthefuture.com, and so is the online workshop, and all the information, the history of the contest, anything you want to know about it is also there. So, and then we have social media channels, WOOF, WOTF for Writers of the Future, WOOF Contest. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can go there and keep tabs on what's happening with the contest and who's winning and all the excitement.
Awesome. And there will be all those links that Emily mentioned will be in the show notes at starkreflections.ca. Emily, on behalf of writers, especially speculative fiction, science fiction, fantasy writers, thank you so much for doing all this for them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. And thanks for representing Canada for us over there and getting the word out.
Go Canada. Thanks, Em.
Yeah.